Yeah, we call them the obscure saints, and I think that's a great model for us. I actually dedicated this book to two of my uncles. My mother's my mother had four brothers, and these two are still living, and they're younger than she was. And they are the epitome of obscurity. One of my uncles that I dedicated the book to, John Tell Smith, was a junior high track coach for many, many years in Wisconsin, and since has retired to Colorado with his wife. My Uncle Craig was an engineer for the South Dakota Department of Transportation, and he too is retired. And they're men who love their families. They're men who pretty much came from nothing. When my grandfather died, he was a life insurance salesman who had no life insurance. John and Craig both remember when the family car was repossessed. And they went to college, and they got married, and they had children, and they loved their wives, they loved their children, they loved their crazy nieces like me. And some people would consider that to be small lives, obscure lives. And I say God bless them both. There are a lot of men in the book who I think you could say the same thing about. One I love, who probably few people have heard of, is St. Clement Mary Hofbauer, who was a citizen of what's now the Czech Republic. He died in 1820. He wanted to be a priest and didn't have the money. So he did the next best thing that he could. He became a baker's apprentice, and he went to work as a baker at a monastery. Somewhere along the line, two women he barely knew, gave him the money to go to college, which then enabled him to become a Redemptorist priest. And I take it to those women that probably wasn't a big deal at all. They had plenty of money. It was just something one did. Another one that, another obscure one that spoke to me, because I think we all have disappointments in life, and often those disappointments are what lead us into our vocation. Jose Maria de Yarmes Parras of Mexico died in 1904. And he was a priest, came to his vocation pretty early on, and his uncle was a bishop. Well, as you can imagine, that pretty much greased the skids for him. He got a nice administrator's job and blah, 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 except then his uncle wasn't bishop anymore. And the next bishop, as often happens, in the private sector with businesses and also sometimes in churches, basically exiled him. He sent him away from, the big fancy cathedral and the administration, and he was sent to two rural parishes. Now, I've known priests, you've known priests, we've all known priests. There are parishes that are exile. These were exile parishes. And Jose was not initially very excited about this. And then one day he was walking and he saw something absolutely horrific. And it was that two wild boars had attacked two newborns. And it revolutionized his world. From that point on, he really wasn't about the pomp and the circumstance. He didn't ever really want to go back to the big job in the diocese. He remained an advocate for social justice and for those in need the rest of his life. So interesting things happen, I think, as we go along.